You can roll your
I
eyes all
disagree.
day. You can roll your eyes all day, but that is a fair analysis as I look at
I
you and
disagree.
deal. You can disagree all day, but I'm the one making the decisions.
Welcome to my channel, where we take a look at the master criminals of the American justice system and the judges that deal with them to keep all of you Americans safer. I will do my best to be as brief as I can in describing what is happening and to pay respects to these judges who I wish were presiding over the courts in my country. I also promote YouTube channels out there that I think are worthy of subscription, so make sure you check out the ends of these episodes and the descriptions below. Now, on with the first case, where Judge Stevens is about to lose his temper on a man with a very small but very cute.
Texas versus John Walker Pardash Jr., who's present with his attorney, Mr. West, and the state's attorney. The court back in November ordered the defendant to submit to a competency assessment by Dr. Ed Rapon and schedule and attend the appointment with Dr. Rapon, and the court will hold a hearing once the report is completed and submitted by Dr. Rapon. And this is set today to make sure that all of that is moving forward.
Back in November, we held a hearing on defendant's violation of his bond conditions, and the court ultimately found that he had violated his bond conditions and held that in abeyance pending the receipt of this report. Not surprisingly, we have problems here today ever since that last hearing.
Where's the report?
I don't think he's ever gone.
Dr. Rapon's staff has told me he doesn't see patients anymore.
What?
He doesn't see patients anymore. I've called his office 3 or 4 times and I've documented those.
Get him on the phone. No, that's not what we talked about.
Well, I'm
about
telling you
2
that
weeks
I was
ago
told
during a
that
Christmas
he was
event.
not seeing patients
Don't
anymore.
interrupt me. This is profoundly disturbing that you are consistent on. Your behavior in every court case so far has been unruly. You interrupt, you have it your way, you want it on your terms. And when I ordered you to do something, you're the one person who's come through who has a problem following that simple order. Dr. Rapon and I have discussed his methodology in doing things, and he says he's limited his patients, but he's seeing everyone I am sending to. He does work directly with me. And I think there's some other judges as well. But he assured me that anytime he needs something, and it was the effect of, if you think if you've heard I've retired, that's wrong. Now, what's your problem?
Well, my problem is that when I call his office and
Get him on the phone.
it took me 3 or 4
Judge,
times.
I need to make the court aware that the other purpose for which
Well, let him finish and then you can do it.
Okay.
I have called his office 3 or 4 times, and I finally got his staff on the phone, and I was told by his nurse practitioners that he no longer sees patients
Yeah.
at all. And
The way you must have handled that, I can only presume the way you handle it, like you handle every conversation that we have had with disruption and contempt and defensiveness and divisiveness. I can understand how they would think that. You can roll your eyes all day. You can roll your eyes all day, but that is a fair analysis as I look at you and deal with you. You can disagree all day, but I'm the one making the decisions.
And Judge, I need to make the court aware that since that last hearing, Mr. Bordage changed his GPS monitor at Johnny's Auto, changed his GPS monitor so that he would not get these electromagnetic readings. He has still continued to harass Johnny's Auto. He's insisting they file murder charges against our office and this court because he claims that his GPS monitor is killing him. And on a weekly basis, including on Christmas Day, he has continued to harass Mr. Payton. Mr. Payton is here today to present evidence to the court if necessary.
Okay, I don't have the ability to do it right now. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to hold, I want a hearing. Are you ready for something? Are you ready for any kind of hearing today?
Whatever we need, Your Honor. I don't know what the hearing's for, but
On whether his bond should be revoked.
And Judge,
Yeah, I'm going to give it to, I'm going to set this for Monday.
Monday?
I'm going
I'll
to
be
set
fine.
this for Monday. You will be ordered to be up here at 9 o'clock. We will have a hearing on the determination of whether your bond should be revoked, and you should sit this one out in jail until such time this case can get disposed of.
And this is why Judge Stevens has such a following, as he is a no-nonsense, be respectful, and don't try coming to court with something so small, even if it's cute, judge.
Do you understand that?
Yes,
Judge-
I understand clearly.
the fact that he has
Then
not
that's
gone,
enough.
the fact that he has not gone to Grippon yet is basis enough alone.
I'm gonna-
And every single night he is banging on their house. He's harassing these people.
All right.
So
We're going to
if,
deal with this on
Number one,
Monday. You say another word, you'll go to jail. You say another word and interrupt this court, you will go to jail. Mister, I have to have it on my term only. You have been ordered to do things. All persons who are ordered generally comply. You may not like it because of your special ways about the way you conduct yourself, but you will follow it. Do you understand? Monday, 9 o'clock, we will have a hearing. Be here and be ready. I want this on whether bond should be revoked.
I don't think that this guy is going to do very well in prison unless he has an Iron Man suit or a cellmate called Reach Around. Oh, I mean Reacher. Now, the next criminal mastermind is...
As we said, defendant's GPS is deactivated due to failure to pay or report. Status of the device.
On my ankle still, it gets charged every night. This is the first of my knowledge that was deactivated.
It says to pay or report. I mean,
I
that
didn't know
shouldn't,
it's for.
that shouldn't be, hold on. I mean, that's what the court notes are. He is behind. He owes $1,125. We're going to deactivate him for failure to make payments on his device. That was on 10/14. So it's going on now 2 months. You've been put on notice, sir.
Like I said, I haven't received a notice or anything.
But you don't have to have a notice.
The
You have to pay, and it says you're $1,125 behind.
like I said,
Is that right or wrong?
I don't know because
Well, if you don't,
I didn't pay
that's
the-
not the right answer for someone who is obligated to make payments.
that's what
I don't know is not, you ought to have records and they need to be produced because your burden is to prove otherwise.
I think
It's not mine.
I think
Now, you are about to hear why it is that lawyers are some of the dumbest people in a courtroom, as this chump's lawyer is about to inform Judge Stevens that it's not his client's fault that the GPS isn't paid, but it's his victim's fault, as she hasn't paid for his GPS. And this excuse, as you can imagine, with Judge Stevens, goes down as well as turning up to court with a very small, yet very cute penis.
the clarification, Judge, is that the complainant in this case, I'm looking at the probable cause affidavit and the affidavit in the indictment, I think it's Sarah Edwards.
Okay.
Sarah, to my understanding from talking to him, was paying all of the fees and then she stopped paying the fees. So then he was in a situation where he couldn't afford it anymore. But
If I
she
could-
was,
That's the worst.
If I
That's
could
the
say-
worst story I've heard.
no, this is
What
just
I
a
mean-
truth story. If I could,
Oh, it might be true,
and I
but
was
the victim, you were indicted. The victim, you think ought to be paying for your obligations on the GPS device. Am I correct in that thing?
That's why I want to tell you the whole story. The GPS device is from the misdemeanor charge that was before the felony. So to bond out on the misdemeanor charge before the felony,
I ordered a GPS device, didn't I?
and I already had one on when
Please.
you ordered it.
Yeah, so it's ordered on behalf of me, too. You got two orders. that you've got to follow.
And, and they let me out of jail because I already had one on. So I didn't have to sign for your order, or I didn't have to agree to anything because I've already had one
You
on.
didn't have to agree to anything because my order obligates you. You don't have to. This isn't a
But I
contract,
didn't know who to
buddy.
go to. I didn't know who to go to.
You got a lawyer. He went to law school. Don't
But
ask.
he
Don't
wasn't
say
my
you're.
lawyer at the time of the GPS, but if making payment is fine, I can make I can
Oh,
pay
will
all
you
right
do
now.
that as a favor for us?
I mean, I'm not trying to be rude, Your Honor.
No, yeah, you are. You are. You have an obligation as bond. And let me tell you what I do in all occasions like this. You go to jail. Now, good luck trying to figure that out, how you're going to pay for that. But
Or I would have paid it. I can pay it full today.
look, no, here's the deal too. No one needs to tell you you have to pay or you're behind. You were told up front and you made it. That's what is that what you do is you interrupt people all day long? I guess that's the environment you've found yourself in is you're the bully of the group. See, you keep saying that. You keep interrupting. You're the bully in the group. When the court talks, I get the talk first, and then you have a fair opportunity to answer. She has to take down everything that's said. When two people are speaking over each other, she can't do her job. And actually, the Supreme Court says she's really the most important person in this room because if they don't have everything that's being heard, then they can't make rulings if there's an appeal of an issue. So let's do, but I'm not telling you anything that you and I didn't learn when we were 4 and 5 years old. And that's don't interrupt people when they're supposed to be talking. Okay, all right. So the
Bond conditions are no contact or communication with the victim and must have a GPS monitoring device.
that's my bond conditions. What was the date on there?
He made bond on December 29th, 2023.
Yeah. When was my bond condition ordered?
It doesn't give a date, Judge, under the conditions. It's likely when we set the bond, probably,
A long time ago.
probably when he was indicted is when we
Yeah,
set the bond conditions.
So ignorance is not an excuse. You were told, you were ordered by this court, and your bondsman informed you. Your attorney also knows about it. So
And like I say, Judge, I'm not saying that that's an excuse, but this way it happened is that Sarah's the component and she stopped paying. Then after she stopped paying,
Yeah. That's the silliest thing I ever heard.
And yet this lawyer made the decision to lead with the silliest thing Judge Stevens has ever heard. The look on Judge Stevens' face says it all. He is sick and tired of people coming to court.
Your excuse to me for not paying the obligation, I didn't order Sarah, the complainant, the victim. I ordered you, the defendant. I really can't do much about or Sarah. She's not before me. You are, but I ordered you for the GPS device, and your explanation and excuse to me is that the victim in this case, who was not ordered by me, you were, the victim didn't pay for your obligation of the GPS device. So it's not your fault. Silliest thing I ever heard.
And his lawyer says nothing.
This is like we're in 4th grade now. 3rd grade,
It's just-
1st grade. This is foolish and silly, and it's irresponsible. And you are grown up. I know you've been around. You're 1990. So what are you in your 30s here? Yeah. So you're an adult. You've been an adult for half of your life. Well, this is a responsibility that is yours, an obligation that is yours. And Sarah Edwards, who you feel like this is, I hope this goes to trial so we can explain this to the jury so that the jury listens to the person that the grand jury indicted you for hurting. And their grand jury states you intentionally, knowingly, or recklessly caused bodily injury by stabbing and cutting her about the head and body with scissors. That that person who is alleged to have been stabbed and cut by scissors and brings you before the court. Your story to them is going to be like, I'm sure to me, that she's the one that should be paying the GPS device, not for me. And that's my excuse. She's paid it before for whatever reason, but I didn't order her. I ordered you. And the victim not paying for your responsibilities doesn't go 1 inch. It makes me angry.
Isn't it funny? You pay your lawyer to get you out of trouble, yet here we have a professional that gets you into it, deep into it. The only thing that could save this lawyer is that his client instructed him to use this excuse, and even though he advised against it, the client demanded he follow instruction. But I won't make an excuse for incompetency when it comes to lawyers, as one wrong decision can lose someone their freedom, and the decision for a lawyer to use the silliest aka dumbest excuse ever heard by a sitting judge isn't just a little professional mistake, especially if people who aren't lawyers would think, gee, I don't think that I would use that as an excuse in front of any judge.
But the court's orders are the court's orders. You failed to honor them. I can hold you in contempt, put you in jail for 180 days. Plus, when you get out, you're not going to get out until you have a GPS device that's paid for. You might be surprised to know that the people on bond all have pending charges, criminal cases in this court. There's 5,000 of the people between this lady next door and me, the two criminal district judges. They never have this problem. And this is a first in my years as a judge and as a lawyer that you need to cut me some slack, Judge, because the victim was supposed to be paying for my GPS device that you ordered me to have, not me. And it wasn't my obligation or my excuse for not paying it for the it's behind is that she didn't pay for it. Sorry, that doesn't work. What else?
Just to say, first, I want to apologize for the interrupting. I'm just really nervous right now. Really been trying to get my life on track and do everything right. That's why I'm really scared to go to jail, because I am in the process of looking for a job and everything. As far as taking on the responsibilities, like you said, I'm sure you can tell by my past that I'm not too good at that. And right now,
I don't know much about your past, so really I don't. The indictment just says one thing. What you're charged with here is this.
You had seen my full arrest.
Hold on, with this aggravated assault. I don't know what your arrest situation is, and quite frankly, I'm not really interested in it. I am interested in convictions because I'm funny about the presumption of innocence. I'm going to stand by that. You can be arrested, and period. But you've been charged here with now bond conditions, and these conditions have to be followed. And failure is not an option, and that's for everybody. Failure is not an option because the other alternative is sit it out in jail until we can resolve this. But here's another thing: is you're not supposed to even have contact with Sarah Edwards. Oh, but how do you work without any contact with her? How do you work her paying for your bills? How does that work?
Because I said I have a
Play like I don't have 3 degrees and a doctorate. Play like I don't have that. I don't understand how that works in your world.
I have a misdemeanor charge from before the felony charge against Sarah.
Yeah.
The misdemeanor charge
For what?
for a misdemeanor assault.
On whom?
Just another woman. So
Wait.
Oh, truly, this guy shows us how much he respects the females in his life. By referring to a victim as just another woman, he keeps digging the hole that Judge Stevens is about to fill in with, a lesson on respect.
Wait a second. Half the planet for women. And the way you talk about it is just another woman?
I didn't know that it was to be getting into
Oh,
jail
yeah,
with you.
I can't wait to see the jury that's impaneled in this case. You'll see a lot of ladies in the group and see their response for that statement. You know what? There's just no respect. You just don't have respect for others, much less women, ladies. My goodness. And the person who's the victim, you're blaming her for not paying. This is This is almost like a laugh-in movie.
I think Judge Stevens is trying to say that you should subscribe to this channel to see more jokes made by criminals and lawyers alike.
This is like a cartoon because you're in a parallel universe. All right, I've said enough. You have an obligation here. You hadn't paid.
And there's no way to make repercussions.
You got 72 hours.
I can make repercussions in less than 5.
Repercussions. I want
Just pay,
responses, not repercussions. A response. There's two different words there.
Forgive me, Ron. Like I said, I'm really trying to change the.
You got 72 hours. Can I say? You'll be back on.
And that was before the felony. So Sarah paid for the GPS on that case. So she had been paying for it from then before her case.
Sir, I don't care about this case. This case, I have ordered you a GPS on this case. Now, if you want to use a GPS for both of them, that's fine, but you don't have to have 2 GPSs,
Right.
but you have to have one. And
That's fine.
this one, if you interrupt one more time and you don't get 72 hours, Mr. Interrupter, I can see you're a bully. You really are. You're a bully. And here's the deal. It's girls. It's girls that you pick on. Mr. Man, gentlemen.
That's why Judge Stevens is my favorite. And if more judges thought and acted like him, bullies and worthless men like this would be too scared to lay fists upon someone so sacred to our species as a woman.
Let's see. Hope here and Sarah here are the 2 victims. And then Sarah's supposed to be paying for your GPS device. It's her fault, not yours. 72 hours. And I don't want Sarah paying for it. You have to pay for it. Because I'm going to talk to the bondsman and I expect Sarah, and we'll have Sarah up here if I have to. And I'll talk to her about it. But you're not going to be pressuring. Yeah, you're supposed to contact this woman. I find out you contacted her. You'll sit, whatever device, you can sit in jail with all the GPS devices you can put on you, and you'll sit in jail until this thing gets disposed of. So, see, you charged her with one female, with one lady, causing bodily injury to Hope here by I guess that's pushing it, it's a misspelled word, and headbutting the victim at the time of the, y'all had a dating relationship. What kind of intimate love relationship involves headbutting? I'm not familiar with that. I've never tried that with my wife. You think it's funny? It's not. It's indecent. It's not proper for a handle of lady. And then the other one here is oh, you stabbed and cut Sarah with the head and body with scissors. And then Sarah, it's her fault that you're not paying, that you don't have. Well, it just makes me angry to read this.
Yes, Your
Does
Honor.
it to you?
Yes, Your Honor,
To
the
you?
state would,
I mean, there's no sensibility here. You're standing there and want me to feel sorry for you? Well, I don't.
and Your Honor, the state would just request that the defendant's bond be increased to protect the victim in this case, because she was paying.
What's her bond? What's his bond now? Please. I don't want her paying that bond. And I'm going to have her in here to make sure she does it, my God, because I know what's going on in the environment that's out there. When you're on bond, I'm sure you're pressuring the poor ladies, both of them. Yeah, I'm sure that's.
The bond is $50,000.
Yeah. I've been railing on you. I'm saying it's hard to say this. I know it's hard. Your attorney is a fine lawyer, and we're all stunned by your what comes out of your mouth and the way you think. You're in a parallel universe with the rest of this planet by yourself, because I've never seen thinking or had to deal with thinking like this. But I'm going to protect that lady. But You don't have a GPS device on right now, do you?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
I've never taken, it's never been off since it was initially ordered from the misdemeanor.
Okay. But I'm going to tell the bondsman they can get off your GPS device. You're going to have to go to somebody else. But they can get off. They're not, if it hadn't been paid for, then that's an obligation, and then they have to deal with me because they're supposed to follow my orders. But if it hadn't been paid timely, then I'm going to tell them, get rid of it. Take it off. And I want to know, I want to know with the bondsman, and I'll call the bondsman and talk to them. I want to know what the source of that money is. I find out you're getting the money from any victim. Heck would pay. Do you understand? Just look around you. And nobody is on your side on this one. Nobody. You're on your own because you're not thinking right. I want a hearing on Friday to see where we are, and I'm going to talk to the bondsman and see where we are. But you don't have it paid for. I'm ordering it pulled until you pay up front. And I find out that these ladies are paying because of you, Mr. Bully, and that. Can you imagine going to trial with this? This thing's headed for trial. That's what I guess I've said it for trial. Okay. And then the district attorney brings this up, which he could, because it's part of your character. And I can guarantee you that jury is at least 50% females. But no man is sympathetic with you in this situation. No, a decent guy, no decent man. Shame on him. I can't even say that enough, but you're just not thinking about it. There's no way to treat anybody, much less someone you claim you have an intimate relationship with or intimacy with. My goodness, been married 40 years. I can't even imagine thinking that. Even thinking such a thing, much less acting it out like you're playing around with. Get a resetting. You don't have contact with this lady, my watch, who's the victim.
No, I've never talked to her.
I don't care. I'm repeating an order that you don't seem to think about, because I ordered you to have a bond, to have a GPS, and your GPS is not paid for. So you didn't follow that. So I expect that you're irresponsible in other ways too. Get a resetting. 3 days, we're going to have a hearing, and then we'll air this out. And I want to find out where we are. We're ready to go to jail if you're not going to impress me. Do you understand?
Thank you.
Thank you for watching. Please make sure that you subscribe. You should subscribe to these guys, as he seems to have no life, as he's consistently posting cases on his channel for who he calls nerds. He doesn't know me, but I steal lots of shit off his channel, so he must be doing something right. I'll leave a link below, and go check him out when you hear his voice. Try to think of what would the person look like who has a voice like that, as I did, and I thought he would have been a tall, handsome, very thin, blonde-headed James Bond's character. Boy, was I wrong. See you in the next episode that I stole, probably of the non-James Bond's channel. You really should check out the episode on the screen now, as the criminal in it has turned up to court with a very small, yet very cute. Well, I'll let it be a surprise.